Hey, there we are.
Chris, what's going on, man?
Nothing, brother. How are you?
I am doing great. I just got back in from Chicago last night. Very exciting trip.
Nice. I love chatting with the game with you. That was great. I it felt so good to be a part of your first hockey game. That was awesome.
So just to give you guys a heads up, Chris was like literally walking me through. Like I told him I was going to the Blackhawks game. So as he said, I'm going to watch it with you. So he's all the way in Canada. He's watching it on TV, and I'm asking him, okay, what's going on right here? What's going on there? And he's giving me a blow by blow during the game. So yeah, very appreciative of that. So
my pleasure, buddy.
No, most definitely. So okay, so let's give the people what they pay for. So first of all, obviously I'm just getting into hockey. Just went to my first game. You've been watching hockey probably for most of your adult life?
Most of your life. Since at least 98. So since I was 9, at least. Yeah. And I've been playing a long time as well.
Okay, even better. So
34.
Okay. All right, good. So most of your life. So take us down your hockey journey, right?
Okay.
How did you get into hockey? Just break it down to us.
So basically, my brother worked at the arena where the Leafs played, called Maple Leaf Gardens, and he made pizza for Pizza, and he came home one day and he told me, "Hey, I got to deliver pizza to the hockey room," and it was really weird because everyone was naked and blah blah. And like, what are you talking about? They were naked. So then he went to more games, and I don't know if you know this, but the Leafs play every Saturday night. They're like the feature game each Saturday night. Yeah. So in Canada, Saturday night is hockey night in Canada, and all hockey fans tune in Saturday night to watch the game. So the next Saturday came by, and I watched the game in his bedroom, hoping to see him. And of course, I didn't see him, but I fell in love with hockey right away. And that had to be 97, 98. And those were some of the Leafs' glory days. And it was just instantaneous. I just loved it, every little bit of it. And the TV was so bad. You couldn't see the puck barely. You couldn't read the players' names, but it didn't matter.
It's not the best, though.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we almost have it too good today. Like, I can see the pores on players' faces. It's kind of weird. But, yeah, and then I just continued on, and I wasn't able to play. My parents weren't really into sports, so I had to wait till I got a job. I got a job picking weeds, and that's how I paid for my gear. And eventually I started playing when I was around 14, like in an actual league. I took 3 buses to get to hockey. It took me about 2 hours just to get to hockey. If I made the bus back, it was great. I didn't have to walk home. And I kept playing. I started increasing my levels. I started coaching. I started working for teams. I was an assistant GM. Up until COVID, I was goalie coaching. I'm mainly a goalie. And I gave up on my pro career a few years ago, but up until 2017, I was trying out for East Coast Hockey League teams and just trying to get in there, trying to break in and really, just be a pro hockey player, live the dream. So fortunately that's over now.
well, the good thing is I think it's like that in all sports. We all have people that shoot for the stars. Hey, look, you went further than I am. I think, I'm a big avid football guy, and I think I was in high school. I was like a senior, and I was like, dang, it's not going to happen.
Your first episode was amazing. I loved hearing your football story. Like that was hilarious. That coach just, oh man, that sigh he gave you.
Oh yeah, he was sick, right?
Yeah.
But like I said, your story kind of mirrors a little bit of mine because I actually had to take 2 to 3 buses just to go to football practice and stuff in the summer. So you're giving me flashbacks, dude.
It makes you love it better, and it's still here, So that's I think it made it so much better, and I got to do it under my terms, and I had a really bad injury that stopped me, and that was the reason I fought back from my injury and got to playing again. Because doctors told me I wouldn't play again. So, and I was like, no, screw you guys. I'm going to play. And yeah, And then COVID hit and it crushed everything basically. So now I'm
now you said something key, right? And this is, because obviously the biggest thing is outside of learning hockey from you, I want people, especially where I came from, to know like hockey is an option. Like, this is a really great sport. Mm-hmm. You said that you had to pay for your own gear. So that, I know I've heard somebody say that it can be an expensive sport somewhat.
Hockey is the most expensive sport in the world, and it's also the fan base is the richest fan base in the world, like per average fan.
Oh, I'm learning something.
Yeah, so hockey is so expensive, and then to be a goalie, the gear is even more expensive. You're looking at about 3 times to being a skater.
Give us the average. So you're a goalie. So what would you say the average goalie, fully stacked? How much does that gear cost?
Am I buying the nicest stuff? Like I'm going to go play pro. Am I playing?
Let's go average. Use like low budget, but we have the full gear.
All right, you're spending at least $2,000.
Okay.
You're really, and that's used gear. It's nice stuff. You're going to be able to go to work tomorrow. You might have a few bruises, but you'll be okay. That's toughing it out. So. And the problem is that when you're a kid and you're playing, you're growing, so the gear doesn't fit, right?
That makes sense.
That's the problem, because your leg pads have to be like a certain size and everything, or you'll get hurt.
So one time I heard, and I guess what you're saying maybe ties into what this guy said. I heard one guy said that it's best, if you're going to play hockey, it's best to actually play in competitive league once you're like already in high school or you're a little older. Is that the reason why?
Well, I mean, yes and no. You want to always play your highest option, right? Like you always want to be challenged, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. There's people who don't want to advance, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're looking to advance, you want to be playing the best hockey you can, right? And even just being around the team, right? Even if you're not playing, because it's hard. If you're not the starting goalie, if you're a backup option, you're not going to be playing. But just being in that room, taking in those practices, but it's all a choice, right?
Yeah, no, 100%.
Does that answer your question?
No, it does. It does answer my question. Okay, so let me ask you this. So obviously, you were introduced to the game 97, 98. You were smitten instantly. Bad TV quality, but you became addicted to the sport. Was there a specific player that impacted you the most that you're like, because you're talking about goalies. Was there like a guy that you're like, man, I want to be him?
Yeah, there was a couple. My biggest one is this guy named Ed Belfour. Ed Belfour. He actually played for the Hawks, and he won a cup with the Dallas Stars as well. But he was nuts. He was just insane. He you went near his crease, he would attack you with his stick. There's a photo of him. I think he's on the Stars. Yeah, he's on the Stars. They're playing the Sabres in the playoffs for the cup, and he literally. Someone's crawling away, trying to get away from him, and he's reaching for him to grab him and punch him in the back of the head. Like, this guy was insane. There's a few like nutso goalies. If you look up Ron Hextall, you'll get a laugh and a half out of that guy. There's so many great goalies. The one that I mostly watched when I was really young was this guy named Felix Potvin, who everyone in Toronto knows, most fans know. And then it turned into this guy named Curtis Joseph. And he was this goalie that was just everywhere. Like there was no what do you call it, structure to his game. He just did whatever he could to get in front of that puck, and he would be rolling and diving and getting it with the back of his leg, and you'd love him. He was a character, right? And then Belfour came to town. Unfortunately, Cujo left for Detroit because it was some GM splat with him with Team Canada, and it wasn't even related to the Leafs. And then everyone was so upset, and then Belfour came in. He just took over Toronto Maple Leafs, and that was it. And I was done. And I'm just a diehard fan. I got some goodies for you about him if you want to see them.
Okay, so this is all good stuff. First of all, Chris, I don't know if you know it. I'm over here like Belfour, Ron Hextall. I'm over here writing these names down. Come on, man! Look, I'm learning this. I'm in the. You're like in the teacher, and I'm in the students' desk right now, just taking notes. So let's get to the nooks and crannies. All right. Because I know our fans are like, yeah, okay, he says these guys are good. I want to know why they're good. I want to know what hockey's about. So let's break down the sport. How does it work? What are the rules? Like, break that down for us.
All right. So I'll start really basic. As I was teaching you, you have to basically get the puck in the net. 5 players on each side, plus the goalies. And basically you work as a team to get the puck up the ice to the other side, score a goal. But that makes it sound so simple. As you saw, there's things like offside, where the puck has to enter the zone before a player's feet, the carrying or anyone else's feet do for the opposing team. You have to cycle the puck. You can't just shoot the puck in from all the way from your zone to relieve pressure.
Oh, you can't.
You have to take it all the way to the red line. I don't know if you can show your fans like a diagram, but there's a red line at center ice. You have to cross that before you can shoot it into their zone, or else you're not allowed to change, because these hockey players only skate for 45 seconds to a minute, and then they swap a line. And basically you dump it in without crossing that red line. They're going to call the play, bring it all the way back to your zone. You're not allowed to change your players, so your guys are all tired, and the other team can change, right? And so they basically trap you in your zone, and if you don't win that face-off, you're essentially screwed, right? And then that gives that opposing team a chance to get shots on net, cycle the puck, tire you out, and the idea is they cycle the puck around the zone, make a couple passes, you're too tired to keep up with the puck, they get a couple shots on net, and they score, right?
Okay, so it's coming. Okay, so you guys obviously coming together for me because I went to the Blackhawks game. So is that what the Panthers did to the Hawks?
Yeah. So if you saw the puck in deep and they just kept rolling it along those boards, which they definitely did. Panthers have a lot of speed. They would just keep spinning it around, trapping those Hawks players in, and eventually, like after 45 seconds, you're just gassed. Like even as a goalie, you're in that net moving around and you're just tired, right? And then once they get those point shots from the blue line, the defensemen shoot from the point. Once they start cranking them on net, and if you don't, like as a goalie, if you don't grab that puck and really smother it, and then you get a whistle, they're going to keep cycling you, and you're going to get shots on net and score. It's going to happen. It's inevitable.
And is that gear?
Sorry?
Oh no, really quick. Is that gear heavy?
It's pretty heavy. I'd say it's better now. Like when I first started, the gear was 3 times the weight. It's still probably about 50 pounds of gear at least.
Yeesh.
Yeah. So like as you're moving around, because you only have to move around a crease, but you have to stay square with the puck, right? Yeah. So you have to be ready for it, and you have to get down, get back up, skate over, and you have to also watch for other players. You know, their players are quick and sneaky now, and if your defenseman's not on them, they're all alone. You know. So yeah, it's interesting game.
So what are the positions? Because I'm sure it's maybe like soccer and basketball. We know goalie, but what are the key positions in hockey?
So you have your center, who's a player who basically plays offense and defense through the middle. They also take your face-offs usually. So at the start of the game, the ref comes to center ice, and 2 players line up at the dot, and they literally drop the puck, and you immediately fight with your sticks with that puck, right? That's your center usually. And then, sorry, 1 second here. My dogs are coming. Hey, take a hike. Raider safe. Okay, go. Sorry, I gave them a treat. They're giving each other eyeballs now.
No, you're all good.
So, and then you have your 2 wingers, your right winger, your left winger.
Okay.
They go along as a forward. And basically, once the center gets the puck or a winger, the 3 forwards move up to the opposing zone and try to get that cycle going. And then you have your 2 defensemen who generally stay back either at the red line or at the blue line. And that's where you get those point shots from. And they're the first line of defense for when you lose the puck. It gets transitioned over to offense for the other team. They stay back and kind of defend against them, square off the players, block shots, things like that.
Wow. So, yeah. Okay. So I've seen something crazy. All right. So obviously we watched the Blackhawks. They removed their goalie. Oh, is that a normal?
That is normal. Okay. Now they pulled him twice, which as a goalie coach and as a hockey fan,
frustrating.
It was too much. Yeah, like you can't pull them twice. Like the first, I don't know if you remember, but the first one they had that went in once they pulled the goalie, there was no chance for the Blackhawks defenseman to keep up with that guy. He just walked right in and buried it. And then they pulled it again. It was like, okay. And then you mentioned that the fans are leaving.
Yeah, they were done.
Yeah, they were just
they were done.
So they were frustrated, right? So I mean, we used to pull the goalie about a minute to go, and then another this coach that coached for Colorado, he was actually a goalie who was insane as well. You might want to write this name down, Patrick Roy. His last name's Roy.
Patrick.
Roy.
Okay.
He actually started coaching the Avalanche, and he started pulling his goalies at 3 minutes to go, which is what the Hawks did. And he was actually really successful at it somehow. And that changed the entire league. And now, as you see, instead of a minute to go. Yeah, because it was actually really successful. Everyone called him crazy, right? But, so they pulled the goalie, and they also took some penalties, which were stupid. And it ended up, they lost. What was that game? 6-3, I think?
I think it ended up, I thought it was 5-2, but I could be wrong.
Oh, yeah. I think you're right. Yeah. Was it? No, it was. They were up 3, I thought. Anyways, it was a blowout.
It got ugly.
After 3 goals, you're basically, it's a blowout game. Like usually hockey games stay 4-3 goals and less, right?
What's the highest scoring game you've seen?
That I've seen? Oh, it's been like 10-2 or something. Like you have guys that just don't even show up for the game, or your goalie's just doesn't even. He's not awake. He's still on his last beer from last night.
That sounds like a body bag game, like a murder.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they get pretty bag skated the next day.
Okay, so how about this? Let's go back to positions, right? Because the biggest thing is, we got basketball fans, we got baseball fans, we got football, we got fans from all different type of sports. So let's say, you're the coach, right? You're getting these different type of athletes, right? If I'm a very fast athletic guy, what position would I play in hockey?
That's a tough one because the game's changed so much. Okay. When you and I were young, everybody was these big towering Hulk guys, right? Now the game's changed where speed is a part of the game. You don't have to be this monster man. But I'll give you that you're probably going to be a winger or center because you can go back and forth. So I would say you'd want to be like Patrick Kane. He's a winger. He's small, he's fast, and he's skilled. He can shoot the puck, he can pass, he can make plays. So you'd probably be like a Patrick Kane, Jonathan Taves, who I know is on your jersey right there.
Yeah.
So you'd probably be him, right?
Okay.
And, go ahead, sir.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, finish.
You can be a speed defenseman. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just you have to be in this game. You also have to be you either have to be highly skilled or really gritty to be a defenseman in this league. So if you have speed, you're probably going to be highly skilled. If you're kind of slower, you're going to be gritty. That's kind of the direction you have to go.
Okay. So let's say I'm physical. I'm not the most athletic. What position demands the most physicality?
Oh man, it'd have to be the defenseman. It really, as a goalie, I'd have to, extend my props out to the defenseman because they just jump in front of everything they can. They're checking guys. They're rubbing out guys. They are on their toes the whole game. And they always have your back, right? If you lose the sight of the puck, they're fighting for it. They're grabbing people's sticks with their sticks, trying to not let them make contact with the puck. I don't know if you saw, there was a highlight last week of a defenseman literally diving across the net with his stick. And I don't know if you know how thick a stick is. It's probably 1.5 inches. And he actually dove across and stopped the puck from going in with just the shaft of his stick. So these guys are tough. I've seen guys take pucks in the face, blocking them, and then get back up and try to keep going. There's guys, when you take a puck off like the ankle or something, there's no protection there. And they call it that you have bees in your skate. It's basically what they call it. And these guys will get up and try to block another puck, or I got to hand it to the defenseman. They just keep going.
So I have a perfect question that I'm sure All my fans want to know. So, we know that they fight in hockey, right? So it's not like a thing where I can just throw in some gear and just grab somebody and just what are the what are the ramifications, or how does that work? How do they let them fight? Obviously it's not just you just go in there and do whatever the hell you want to do. What are the rules around fighting in hockey?
So there are rules.
Okay.
First of all, you have to be holding the guy's jersey with one hand. You can't just sucker him. There was this guy who that rule came in the like mid to late 2000s. You used to be able to just start swinging with a guy. But this one guy kept Superman punching guys and knocking them out, right? So now you literally, you have to both want to fight, kind of, or at least you have to rough them up first and let them know what's coming. You can't just walk up to a guy and sucker him now, which is very good, I think. But basically, you have to be holding them, and you guys can swing. If you slow down or if anybody falls, the ref's going to jump on you and break it up. The fight that you saw was the same thing. They both were willing to go, and they both were chucking those knuckles. And then, you don't want to just hop on the ice and fight, though, because it's all in the legs, right? If you can't keep on your feet, you're going to get beat up real bad, because you're going to be worried about falling. Right. And you also have to know, how these guys are so skilled at fighting. They'll be holding a guy, blocking punches, flick their elbow pad off, and start punching so they could punch better. These guys are so skilled. They know how to punch while their jersey's being held. They're, never underestimate a hockey fight. Never.
Yeah, well, and especially because you're wearing all that equipment, so you just got to get used to it, man. So it's a completely different beast.
Yeah, and now the rule is if the helmet comes off, the fight stops too. Where before you'd punch a guy in the face and their helmet would go poof, just pop off, and then it'd just be a brawl right on the ice, right? But I think two guys unfortunately passed away by falling and hitting their heads on the ice in a fight. Wow. And that was kind of the end of that. So, but before, guys would be on the ice getting their faces just pummeled down, and the refs would finally hop on, and it's good change. It is, but those were the days, buddy.
So you would say, okay, perfect comparison. You would say that the NHL is a lot like, you could say other sports, but mainly looking at maybe like the NBA, which these guys were fully squaring up and fighting in the freaking 80s and clotheslining, but it's progressively moved to, it's still physical, but they've made it a little bit, more modern, less barbaric.
Exactly, yeah. I remember Tracy McGrady running behind a basketball net and grabbing a mop to attack someone with. It's not like that anymore in the NHL either, right? There used to, in the 70s, guys would hop it over the glass and fight fans. And you can even search a guy named Mike Milbury. Oh, yeah. He beat a guy with his own shoe for I don't know, chirping him too loud or something. I don't know exactly.
Did he get suspended?
Oh, probably not. It was the 70s, buddy.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
great,
I don't know.
Time for sports.
It was the Bruins. Yeah, it was quite the time for hockey. But yeah, nowadays it's you get more cheap shots, but even now they're cracking down on headshots. If you inappropriately, even if it's accidental, hit somebody in the head, you're probably going to be suspended. They're really cracking down on it. It has to be really bad and accidental for you not to be suspended. So it's moving to a more open game. You're going to have guys that are smaller. Back when we were growing up, there was only a few small guys that would come. I'm talking less than 5'9", even 6 foot. To find people less than 6 foot in the 2000s were very hard. One of them's the coach of the Habs now, where I think he was 5'8", and he was great. He was speedy. He worked hard. He could score, but he had to watch out because guys were literally trying to kill him. Right? And there's another guy named Paul Correa, who this defenseman just crushed with an elbow, right? And he was small and skinny but fast, and he was so bad that he had to be carried off the ice, and he still came back, right? But nowadays it's a different game. But these defensemen and mean forwards would go out and intentionally hurt these small guys because they're small and they're an easy target. Nowadays the game's different. Those players are protected. The game's more based on speed, agility, skill, quality. It's a much better game, even though it's changed.
Even though it's changed significantly.
Yeah.
So let's go player comparisons. Let's across sports. Let's draw the dots just to give people an understanding of the structure or the hierarchy of how the NHL works, right? So, okay, I'm a football fan. All right, one of my favorite quarterbacks of all time. Well, a lot of people's favorite quarterback is Peyton Manning.
Okay.
He was great because he was so cerebral. He may not have been the most physically talented, but he was very cerebral. So it approached defenses. You know, they had to. You know, he was able to read defenses very well and stuff like that. So he brought a cerebral level to the NFL that it probably had never seen before. Are there any players like that in the NHL that are just so smart?
Oh, incredibly. You could look up a guy named Matt Sundin.
Okay.
He barely spoke a word. He wouldn't yell. He would just when he was on the ice, everyone was just better. There's Sidney Crosby, who's playing for the Penguins and always has. And then there's a guy named McDavid. He's like the new Sidney Crosby. Wayne Gretzky. There's so many. Mario Lemieux. Every age group has a player who's just dominating and breaking records and changing the game and making players all around them just immediately better. Sidney Crosby is definitely the best example of that. I think it was Sportsnet this week released a picture because he just scored his 500th goal, of course, against my Flyers. Penn Flyers, you know. Anyways, Pittsburgh, Philly, you know, rivalry. But what they did was they got pictures of everyone's jersey that has an assist on those 500 goals. And you look at some of these jersey names that are on them and you're like, who the hell's that guy? That guy played with Crosby. He has 8 assists on him. He was terrible on this team. Like, you can really, it's a great diagram of how he makes his teammates better. It's truly amazing.
And it's funny that you bring his name up. On my last episode, I talked a little bit about Sidney Crosby because I did some research because I talked about the importance of culture building across all sports, right? And you have some players that can come in and can change the entire culture of a franchise. And Sidney Crosby was one of the names that came up.
Yeah,
right?
He saved that franchise. He literally saved that franchise. It was gone. It was done. I don't think you understand how much he saved that franchise. When he came in, the ticket sales went up. They won cups. They were dead in the water.
How many cups have they won?
Since he's been around, I think they're on their third or fourth. I know I think they have 2 more previously, but they definitely have 3 with Sidney Crosby.
Okay. So, all right. So let's look at basketball. Let's look at Steph Curry, right? Who's ridiculous, the most automatic sniper 3-point shot ever seen in the NBA, right?
So
and literally, you said what?
Go ahead. He's a point guard, right?
Yeah, he's a point guard. He's a point guard. Some people will say he's more of a 2 guard, but he's a point guard.
Okay.
And he's literally changed the way that people play basketball now because everybody wants to shoot. Nobody's driving to the bucket. The mid-range shot is all but dead. Everybody wants to little by little, you're right. Wow. It's kind of dying out. You know, now everybody wants to pull up from the logo and shoot a 3, right? And even knowing damn well they don't have that type of range. But would you say that there's somebody a little younger in the NHL that's maybe doing things a little bit differently? They're straying away from how things, how offense used to be approached in the NHL, and they're doing things their own way. And as a result, the rest of the hockey community is kind of following suit.
Absolutely. We're in this time in the NHL where the game is, these kids that are coming in are just doing whatever they want. It's insane. I don't know if it's the new guard or something, the younger guys leading the way. But they're doing these crazy tricks where they actually pick the puck up. It's called the Michigan. Okay. What you do is you have the puck behind the net, and instead of, you used to like take the puck on the ice and try to slam it into the corner of the net. Like you'd reach from behind and try to stick it in. Now they're literally, they found out how to pick up the puck and tuck it into the top corner. It's crazy. It's crazy. Right. Honestly, the goalies have next to no defense against it unless they're jammed up against the post and it hits them in the face, or, it's crazy. And then in Anaheim, just this year, this guy named Zegras, I can't remember who he passed it to, but from behind the net, he flicked it to a guy in front of the net, and that guy baseball bat swung it into the net, like hit it into the net, and it was insane. I really can't believe it even happened, and so that's so new and so modern that the NHL franchises for EA Sports, same as NBA, whatever, they're going to add it as a goal in EA Sports. That's how like new and revolutionary it is.
And who did it? Who started it? Like, who is the player? It was
Segrist.
Segrist.
Yeah,
oh, wow.
I can't remember how to spell it, but he's on the Ducks. I imagine it's how it sounds, but he's on the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. And you watch them score it because he who scored it with is his buddy, and their faces are just like, you could see just the joy in their faces from scoring that goal. Like it was so cool to see. Yeah.
Wow. So really quick, you mentioned Wayne Gretzky earlier, right?
Yeah.
Just to kind of shed on his name. I've heard two things about Wayne Gretzky. One, I've heard, it took from one of my hockey buddies. His name is Trevor Walker, and he explained to me. He sat me down, right? he humbled me for a bit because I talk basketball, football, a little baseball, and he told me that Wayne Gretzky is literally the greatest of the GOATs. That he's probably better and greater at his sport than, i.e., a Michael Jordan was at basketball, or maybe a Tom Brady was at football.
It's true for now. I gotta say for now. So he dominated everything. There is he has just about every scoring record, anything, and he made it look so effortless. If you ever watched, now I never watched him live. He retired right before I started watching. But if you ever watch his replays and how he played and how he moved, it was like he was a ghost. He was just there and then he was gone, right? Like as he played, he would just duck around you, and
so he's fast.
Yeah, he was fast. He saw the game differently. It's like everyone was a pylon, but it wasn't that everyone was slow. He was just a step ahead of everybody.
And I heard he wasn't a big guy.
No, he was tiny. He honestly, if you look at him, he's just lanky guy. I don't know exactly how tall he was. I'd say he's probably 6'2", 180, 190 maybe. Like they had players that didn't even barely know how to play hockey that were on his line just to protect him. Because in the 80s, hockey was malicious, like just it was dangerous. Yeah, it was. They used to say I showed up to a fight and a hockey game broke out, right? Like that was the old saying. So
I like that.
Yeah. So they had players literally just to protect Gretzky, and there was a player that actually I can't remember if he fought Gretzky or if he checked him too hard, took him out of the game. They beat that guy up so bad that he never played again. Like that's how protected Gretzky was. Nowadays, you don't have that. These elite players, do not have that protection, right? So you either have to be tough, you have to know how to defend yourself, or you won't be elite. So you look at guys like there's this in Washington. There's a guy named Ovechkin. He's the same age as Crosby. He's your sniper. He's your guy. He's going to score your goals, and he's catching up to Gretzky's record. Like he's very close, and he still needs a few years to finish it, and he's getting old. But if anyone's going to touch it, it's going to be him. It's going to be Ovechkin, yeah. And he's on pace, and he works hard. Every shift, he's just full out, and he scored so many goals, and he celebrates like it's his first win in the NHL every single time.
Don't you love that? Older guys that just have that love for the sport. I love that.
Yeah, and when he came in the league, he was highly criticized for being too energetic and too into it and too out there, but it hasn't stopped. Nothing's changed, and he's won and won and won. So, don't listen to the critics is my thoughts.
Okay, so last player comparison. I have to service my baseball fans. So Barry Bonds, right, well known. I think he has the record for most walks. So basically, he was just so dangerous at bat that pitchers were like, "We're just going to walk this guy. We don't want him to hit a home run."
Which I don't agree with in baseball. I think that's cheap, to be honest. But we're not going to go there.
All right. But literally, they were just so scared of this guy hitting a home run. It's ridiculous. So let me ask you this: in NHL and hockey, was there anyone that was so feared, that was so great at one thing, that they were just feared?
Pavel Datsyuk.
Okay.
This guy played for the Red Wings. He was undrafted, he was found in Russia playing men's league hockey. He wasn't even playing like a pro hockey league. He was playing men's league. Somebody watched him play men's league hockey and immediately signed him to the Detroit Red Wings. And if he ever got on a breakaway, you were done. There was no chance. He had all these moves where he would deke and he would just let the puck go and fake over, like he would had the puck over here and the puck would just roll right into the net. Like that was insane, and he was another game changer with all these skilled stick moves. So that's who I would say is your Barry Bonds, where you just had no chance. Once he was alone, you were done. If you could stop him, it was a miracle.
Pavel, and say his name one more time.
Datsuk. Datsuk, I imagine. Don't quote me on that.
Don't worry, I'm gonna do a spell check after, right?
All right.
Okay. So all good players. So fans, I hope you guys got that. I gave you guys some good player comparisons for the sports that we do know, right? So, and this is interesting because, obviously I grew up LA County. I have friends from Philly, from Chicago, from Texas, from multiple different places. All right. And everyone, especially maybe in the Black community, may not be as big or as keen on hockey. In your opinion, what makes hockey unique from other sports? I'm sure there's some similarities, but what makes it unique? What makes it stand
out? I would say that it's the ultimate team sport. If you don't play as a team, there's no chance. There's just no chance. You can't be an individual and show up. You can't have a bad game and expect to win your team to win. And I don't know if you know about our playoffs, but we do the 7-game series. Basketball's the same, right?
Right.
It's like a battle. Like these guys look like they're going to war, and you lose a good player, anyone above your third line, like you're basically done unless you have somebody in the wings like waiting to go who you don't know of yet. And if you're not ready to go to war and to go as a team, you have no chance. There's no lucky games. There's no, in football you could have a good Sunday and win the game with a lucky player. Yeah, hockey you have to play 82 games. You're traveling every other night. You're going around as a team. You have to get past all the drama and all the bullshit. You have to get into these. You have to get into your zone every game. Like I don't know if you've ever seen a hockey player prep for his game, like just standing on the side of the ice taping his stick. These people have like hour-long routines where they're taping the stick and doing eye movements and meditation and sometimes you show up, and as you know, as an athlete, sometimes you show up and you just have a bad game, and it reflects on the whole team. It really does. And I think once you get on that ice, it doesn't matter what color you are, it doesn't matter where you came from. Everybody just wants to win that game, and everybody wants to be a team member. And you have to know your role. There's the fighters who know their role. They go out there and they take care of business. You have to score or you have to block that shot. Everybody who's on that ice, once you get to a certain level, they're there to win, and that's it. There's no dog in it, I would say.
So you would say, and that's good. That actually makes sense. And I'm gonna tell this: you teach. I'm learning a lot because I was ready to die on the hill to say that American football was the most chemistry-based sport. But obviously, having watched hockey and hearing you kind of break it down, it makes a little bit more sense how hockey. So you would say that hockey is just so much more. You can't not have chemistry and be good. It's not a talent driven. It's not a talent driven sport.
No, and you can't buy the team either. Like there's a lot of teams that have tried to buy teams, like the Rangers. They had Gretzky. They had everybody. Like they were. I'm sure it's like the Lakers, right, where they just try to buy everybody.
We'll see how that worked this year,
right?
Right? Yeah, it hasn't worked. Yeah.
They had everybody, and they couldn't win the cup. They just couldn't do it. And these teams that always win the cup are the teams either that dug down, drafted deep, got the players, got the character guys, got the fighter. Like even now, the Tampa Bay Lightning have won 2 in a row for the cup, and it's because they have the big guys, the small guys, the speedy guy, the Russian goalie, the this guy. Like you need the unique mix. You can't just have. There's no more teams of just these big hulking, Canadian guys flying around beating everybody up. It wouldn't work anymore. The game's changed too much. So you need to be in my opinion.
So you would say it's better to, as opposed to going after the big names, it's better to just get guys that fill roles to build a complete team. Okay.
Yeah. Now don't get me wrong. You have Sidney Crosby on your team. You have an advantage, right? But Crosby, like I said, with all those players he's been with, everybody he's won the cup with are pretty much no-name guys on his wings, like literally. So.
Okay. Okay, so here's the magic question I've been looking forward to asking all night, because I know Canadians are so proud of their hockey and their hockey acumen and all those things. All right, so as a new right, so where am I going to get better hockey? East Coast, Midwest, United States, or Canada?
Oh, I'm sorry. This is a no-brainer. This is a no-brainer. So I gotta say, the Americans, you're giving us a run for our money. I'll give you that.
Okay.
But I don't know if you watch the Olympics. The Canadians and the Olympic men did not make. The Canadians and the American men did not make even the quarterfinals, right? Mm-hmm. But the women dueled it out again for the finals, and I don't know if you know who won. But it was
the Canadian one. Was it a bloodbath or was it close?
Oh, it was a bloodbath. Like it was a war. Like it was 3-2 the game. It was amazing. It was an unreal game. The women fought really hard. The women's game just doesn't have the contact that the men's does, but it's a more skilled game. They pass harder. They make more skilled plays and everything. And like if you look at the juniors this year too, unfortunately the World Juniors was canceled. I don't know. Do you know what the World Juniors tournament is?
It sounds familiar, but explain it to me.
The World Juniors is any junior player under 21 can play in this. It's a Christmas tournament. It's actually a New Year's tournament technically. It starts between Boxing Day and goes till the first week of January. And it's I think it's 8 teams. And it's anyone under 21, and they play for the junior tournament championships. And honestly, Canada and US again were looking really good. Canada did have more wins until it was canceled, but it's been rescheduled now, so we can figure this out in, I think it's August or July. But it's hard to look at just the men to me, like, because everybody grows up in Canada playing hockey or exposed to it at least. The American players are huge now. Like it really blows my mind how skilled and how many skilled American players there are out there. And honestly, the U.S. men's team was looking really dangerous this year. If it was the NHLers, fortunately, they didn't get to go. It was all non-NHL players. But put Canada, NHL Canadian men versus American men. It's going to be a battle. I still put my money on Canada though.
So would you liken it to like, because based off of what I'm hearing, hockey is Canada's sport as opposed to America. It has so many different. Would you say that Canadian men's hockey and American men's hockey is kind of like big brother, little brother, and little brother is trying his best to beat big brother?
I think little brother's grown up, to be honest, but I still think that it's
big brother. Has a few tricks up his sleeve.
Big brother, they're just the gritty, the veteran now, right?
Okay.
So I would watch your American men. I think in the next coming years they're going to be extremely dominant, right? I would definitely keep an eye on that, but I would always judge it by the women and the juniors, in my opinion, on which team is better or which country.
Okay. So even outside of that, obviously, you're going to go with Canada. Is there another foreign country that really gives you guys a run for your money that you can say, they might be better than us?
I would
Russia,
say
no.
Sweden. Yeah. So the issue with Russia, and you're not wrong about Russia. Russia is very skilled, but I find that they just go as individuals. They don't play as a team. They take nasty penalties. They do stupid things. It's heated.
Are they undisciplined?
That's a perfect word for it. They get frustrated, they're undisciplined, and but the Swedish players in hockey and sports in general in Europe, especially Scandinavia, are much different. You don't play to play hockey. You if you want to play hockey, you play. If you want to be coached at hockey, it's free. All the sports in hockey, they don't keep score in youth hockey. You just go and play. The parents do, I'm sure, but there's no keeping score. And then you're trained in every position. So if you'll get, like when I was growing up, there was these guys like Datsuk, Lidstrom, Holmstrom, Forsberg, all these guys. You start off playing defense, and then you learn how to play defense. Then you can go play forward. Then you go play goalie. You know the entire game, right? As a more capitalist country of Americans and Canadians, we go in and it's like, okay, you want to play? Here you go. You want to learn how to play? Give us some money, right? It's a completely different system. And I don't know why Sweden and Denmark and Finland and even the Slovaks aren't more dominant, but I would watch out for them, to be honest, because they know the game better than we do, right?
Is that the history of hockey? Where did hockey originate? Maybe I should have asked earlier.
It's Canada. I'm not even going to argue that.
Okay, yeah, no, that's good. Like
from what I know, the first game of hockey was played with horse poo on an ice on a pad of ice. Yeah, as far as I know, you can look that up, but that's what I've been taught on like a frozen lake with some sticks.
First game of hockey, horse poo. Guys, write that down.
Yeah.
Okay. Very, very interesting. Oh man. Well, Chris, first of all, I learned a lot. All right, I'm sure the fans, I learned a lot. I have like literally notes out the wazoo, so now I have a whole bunch of research to do. I feel like I'm back in the lab because like when I was younger and I really was getting entrenched in a football, like I really went all in. Like I didn't go halfway. Like I got fully engulfed to my sister. I told you, I said in episode 1, my sister was like, dude, like you don't want to watch anything else? Or you want to watch
I can't believe you had that many sisters, to be honest.
Oh yeah, but they're all like tomboys, so it's not like girly girls. So I was okay. They gave me a little bit of leeway. But so I'll ask you this: since you're telling us about hockey, all right, tell us about a few of your favorite athletes from other sports. Right? Let's say basketball and football.
So basketball, growing up in the 90s, 2000s, got to be Vince Carter.
Okay.
That guy, I know he had his troubles with the Raptors, but seeing that guy just fly through the air and dunk. I got to see, I believe it was Shaq. Did he play for the Hornets?
No. Shaq played for the Magic and the Lakers. All right, and the Cavaliers and the Heat and all that. Right.
Who played for the Hornets?
Who played?
Was it Jordan? No, it wasn't Jordan. I swear it was Shaq. Anyway.
Oh, no, Shaq. You got me thinking that. What player are you talking about?
Anyways, I love Shaq. I thought I saw him play when I was a kid. Anyways, I really liked him. I really liked Steve Nash. Right. Tracy McGrady, I really liked. He kind of had a bit of edge to him. I like edgy players. I think as an athlete, you can't just be good at your game. You also have to be mentally dominant. You have to find new ways to throw your like. There's this guy in the NHL. His name's going back to the NHL.
No, throw it out.
Brad Marchand, and he does everything he can to take players off their game. And there was a goalie giving a fan a puck during a whistle, and he went over and like literally took the puck away from the opposing goalie and like threw it away so he couldn't give it to a fan. And as a goalie, I don't know why you're giving a puck to a fan at that point of the game, but it like that's in your head, like why'd that guy do that?
That's borderline. That's like demoralizing.
Yeah, it's mental warfare, right? So like I like guys who will go out and kick some ass, right? So I like guys like who go out there and really scare people and make a difference and are gritty and work hard. And so like I always felt like Tracy McGrady was like that. I love LeBron. I know you don't like LeBron, you're not a fan, but I love how he plays. And
I respect his game. I'm not the biggest fan of him, but I respect his game.
Yeah. I would go see LeBron because I love how he played when he was in on the Cavaliers. Like I thought it was great. My favorite memory of LeBron was, I guess it was baby powder or something, but he won his game and he blew it up in the air. Like, oh, I love that guy. That's mental warfare, you know?
And mental warfare. Okay, so any football guys?
Football. Now, I don't watch a lot of football. I'd have to say, if I were to like a guy, it would be I don't know. There's so many though. Honestly, like a guy like Brady always blows my mind. I like listening to him talk. I know he's like the number one guy, right? I'm sure he's like the Gretzky of hockey, but like that guy couldn't remember the last time he ate a piece of pizza, and you have to give him props for that. He won 2 championships in a row, and the reporter asked him when was the last time he had a piece of pizza, and he's, I don't know, I can't remember.
He's very disciplined.
Yeah, you know, and like so. I don't know, like I don't know what to say. I'm sorry, I'm not.
No. You're good. You named a good guy. Honestly, I feel like in another dimension, like in the multiverse, Tom Brady is a hockey player, right?
Yeah. Well, you know, he was drafted by the Montreal Alouettes.
That I did not know.
If you look it up.
No, I did hear that. Yeah.
In I think 86, before I was born, he was drafted by the Alouettes. I think it was 86. No, it must have been 96.
No, it had to have been 96 because he was older and he went to Michigan and stuff like that. So I do remember hearing about that. My bad. Yeah,
I think he was a back catcher. I think, but anyways, I'm sure he would be good at all positions, especially with his height and his athleticism is unreal. But that's what I'd say.
No, most definitely. Well, first of all, Chris, like I said, you taught me a lot. I'm really interested in the sport now. And like I've been telling all my friends since I left the Blackhawks game, now I'm going to find my own. I got the jersey because I feel like I had to. You know, you can't go to a great stadium like that in a great city and not get the jersey. But I'm going to pick my own team, which I'm kind of struggling with. But I told myself, I said, Ken, you're going to pick your own team. And you're going to pick a team that maybe is not super popular. So that way people are like, yeah, this guy's not a homer. I like that. Like, all right, it's like he's not biased, right? Because I could easily be like a Kings fan, right? I'm an LA County kid. Or I could be I'm a Cowboys fan. I could be a Dallas, Dallas Stars?
Stars, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what.
You know what? Don't listen to those people. Pick your team. Just have a reason for it, right?
Yeah.
Like I get beaten up around here because I'm a Flyers fan. Like, I don't know if you could see this here, but I am a huge.
Flyers fan. How do you? I always wonder, how do you get away with that? Because you're a cat, so they probably hate you over there, huh?
I have cars stop on the road to yell at me here. Like I was for my wedding, we had like custom made shirts for our wedding for all my groomsmen, and we went to we get our booze here from this place called the LCBO, and it's basically just a control board from Montreal. Anyways. We had some guy not leave us alone, yelling at us how Philly sucks, like yelling in the store. And then he followed us to our car to yell at us some more. Like it's kind of weird how much people hate it. Like, so you really have to be careful where you wear that sometimes. But man,
that sounds like you got this sounding like sounds like LA, huh?
Yeah.
Right? No, that's good. That's good. I like heated fan exchanges and things like that. I think it makes the sport that much more interesting, as long as nobody gets seriously hurt. But
no, it's true.
I love the banter.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely true, my friend.
Well, I guess now I'm gonna have to. I'm trying to. I'm doing a lot of traveling this year. First with Chicago, but definitely got to move around. Looking to go to New York. So now I feel like I'm inspired. I'm going to have to come to Canada with you, my friend, and maybe we'll have to catch a game or something like that. How does that sound?
Dude, I would happily treat you to a game up here. I can show you hockey that you've never dreamed of up here, buddy.
Look, I bet you my American hockey guys are like, they're like, I don't like that, right? But no, that's good, man. I'm looking forward to it. So before we let you go, how can the fans reach you? How can the fans reach Chris?
So I haven't been as active, but if you look up on Instagram, my handle is favorite fat goalie. and you can see some of my previous work. I haven't been posting a lot because I've been working a lot, unfortunately. But that's how you can find me if you want to join me. I also want to shout out to my favorite, my favorite apparel company. It's called Vintage Goalie. They make specifically goalie t-shirts, sweaters, jackets. If you ever want to check them out. I also want to show you something.
Show me.
So when I was in high school, I figured I could get some ladies if I joined the football team. And I still have my high school football jersey. Hey. For the Pine Ridge Pumas.
Pine Ridge Pumas.
And I was a linebacker.
Oh, okay. So, all right. So, look, you know, your football roots helped you in hockey a little bit, right?
Fair enough. And then I don't know how much you know about the CFL. But,
I know a little bit. Know a few people that played in it too. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. So you know they don't get paid as much. Well, our history teacher won a few. Where's the camera here? He won a few Grey Cups with the Super Bowl. And he actually, I tried to find his card and I couldn't find it. So he went and got me one and he signed it for me. Yeah. But he played 7 years in 87.
Wow.
So there you go. So that's your history teacher in Canada. They'll either be a former hockey player or a football player.
History teacher by day, right? Or a history teacher by day, hockey player by night, right? Or not hockey player,
that's right.
But a Canadian football player by night. But no, you know what? I like the CFL. I think it's its own subculture within the football community, and it's almost like they have their own. You know, because funny, it's guys that come to American football, the NFL, and they're like, oh, you know, this guy was good, but in the CFL, like they're held. Like you can't tell the CFL shit about Doug Flutie.
No,
you can't tell them anything.
Yeah.
Right. Like they love Doug Flutie. If I'm not mistaken, he's like the creme de la creme. And then Warren Moon was pretty big over there. He's a Hall of Famer here now, but you know, he's probably held in higher regard in the CFL.
Is he a quarterback?
He's a quarterback. Warren Moon.
I think he played for the Argos. I think he won a couple championships.
He sure did. Warren Moon. Yeah.
There you go.
So, yeah. But, Chris, it was a pleasure. I enjoyed it. We can actually be on here all day. I told myself, I said, today, Ken, you're going to come on here. It's going to be a 40-minute episode.
Yes.
Once again, sometimes the conversation gets too good and we go over. But, hey, I'm all for it. Great content for the fans, and I feel like you really gave them a good explanation and breakdown of what hockey is and what the sport is. So I'm excited and I'm looking forward to the Breakroom Breakdown becoming an outlet for the sport of hockey.
I really appreciate you having me on, and if you ever want to chat more, I have lots more to give you. I can break down so much more for you.
Most definitely. I'll definitely have you back on.
Buddy, thank you so much.
No, thank you for joining in, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
Have a great one.